Welcome to the Market Mystics Podcast. I'm Joshua.
I'm Kim. Let's dive in.
So, last week we were kind of talking about stepping into my new role and just being aware of the atmosphere that is being created or that I can create, or the atmosphere that I influence, and how some of the success, I can't take all of the success for as just being me. Some of it is this groundwork that the shop has put in with marketing and years of doing good business. I was telling you earlier, the store that I work in has very good, really good search engine optimization. And a big part of that is we have a lot of really good reviews that took years and years of providing good service for people to come and leave reviews. And so it's not just, oh, I stepped in and now everything's amazing. No, it's not it at all. But I was thinking about this in in another expanded way, and was thinking about how when I was looking for a job, I spent several months applying and applying and applying for dozens of jobs. And out of those, only one of them turned into an interview. And or I guess out of those, two of them turned into an interview and one of them turned into a job. But the one that turned into a job wasn't even applied for in the traditional way. It was out having dinner with a friend, and that friend was like, oh, well, the place I'm working is hiring. Why don't you come apply there? And so it's I'm thinking, okay, in the atmosphere, we were talking about the importance of the groundwork, making things be ready to be harvested, but then actually influencing the atmosphere. But in this context, I'm thinking about okay, I had to put it out there and actually do some of the work of applying. But then when it was time, when it was actually the right time, didn't come from anything that I was doing. And so it's I guess kind of the comparison between just being out there grinding, making things happen versus positioning yourself and letting God make things happen for you. What do you think of that?
I think there's a little bit of both. Because oftentimes, and it can happen like this, but I think oftentimes we'll ask the Lord to provide something for us and then sit back and hope that he does it. But I also think he honors action and taking part and making that happen. So I see value in kind of both, but I think it has to do with alignment, So are you aligning with what God is doing and being open to receive whatever doors he's opening, whatever he's giving you in that regard? Or are you sitting back and hoping that he just plops something in your lap?
Yeah.
And I think he can do both. He can honor the grind and he can honor the sitting and waiting.
Yeah.
But I tend to think that active participation yields good results.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think it is active participation. But I've had two moments recently, at least two, where I was looking for something and trying to make it happen. And then when I stopped trying to make it happen, it happened. And it's like maybe I needed to do it that way. Like maybe I needed to go through the effort of like, okay, I need to make my resume look nice, and I need to like think about what it would be like to interview and go through a job, like all these things. But then when it was the right job, like it just like came because I was positioned in a place where I was ready to receive it. Like maybe had that conversation happened before that time, it wouldn't have been the right time for me or the employer to step into that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think it totally makes sense. There's so much nuance to this because there's so much relationship involved.
Yeah.
And there's striving and there's resting and there's walking through open doors and there's having open doors shut in your face, you know, and I mean, all of this stuff happens, right? But sometimes when I think he does that, like when you've really been seeking and looking and trying and all those things, sometimes he does wait until you've sat down and decided to rest for a minute to like open the door and be like, see, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it almost makes it that much more sweet because it wasn't birthed out of what you can do, but it gets birthed out of who you are and who your father is and how he can provide. But I still see the value in the like action, like taking the action.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this before, but someone who I have a lot of respect for is Kirby DeLanroll. And he was speaking one time about like he went through this time of like heavy fasting and like so much revelation and doors unlocked during that time. But then he had the revelation that like his mind now thought that that was being unlocked because of something he was doing. And then God was like, okay, now I need you to go through a season where you're not fasting so that you can understand that revelation and divine alignment happens because of who you are and who I am rather than like you being the reason that it happened.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's important. And that's kind of what we're talking about is like, it's not that fasting is not important. It's not that applying for a job isn't important. Like there is co-participation. Like you have to do something. I think God, I mean, we've talked about this before. I think God prefers to steer a moving ship than to get a not moving ship to start moving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yes, you have to do something. And maybe that feels like grinding to like get the ship moving in the first place. But then once the ship's moving and you're like, oh, this isn't going where I want it to go, all of a sudden you pick up that trade wind that blows you faster than you could have ever believed exactly where you wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about steering a moving ship. I was thinking about how many scriptures I've read over the years about being idle. And that's what I would have said, that like he would rather like steer the moving ship than make a ship start to move. Mm-hmm. I would say like get an idle ship to move.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of warnings and stuff about being idle. But I think being idle, which means doing nothing, right, is different than being at rest. And we've gone through that 1 million times on this podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not the same as being lazy, but if you're just unmoving, right, you can be at rest and still have some movement. I don't know. It's all nuanced. I don't know.
Yeah. It's all based in relationship because there is definitely going to be a time where you need to have more action than another time. And yes, that's totally based on relationship and knowing when it is and when it isn't. And some of it, like some of the relationship is based on what you as a person need. Like, have you been in a season where you haven't been moving? Well, then God might want you to move. Have you been in a season where all you've been doing is moving? Well, God might just want you to like slow down and allow him to move for you. And there's not a, like, that's not a, we've talked about this before, like it's not prescriptive. Like it's totally through relationship that you discover that. And honestly, some of it's probably through trial and error. Like, I just think that I think God is so patient and willing to just let us learn and grow. And like, we do something, we cry out to him, and he just kind of looks at us like, okay, like, what are you going to do? And like, I don't mean it in a mean or derogatory way. Like, I think he's a good father. I'm not saying he abandons you, but like he is patient and allows us to explore his creation way more than I think we realize or wish he did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's a helicopter parent.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I would say about it. I think he guides us if we ask for guidance, but other times, like once you learn to walk, he's going to expect you to walk.
Yeah.
Just like a baby. So a kid has been walking for 2 years. You don't expect him to go back to crawling. And then if they do, you're like, get up and walk.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Right? Yeah. And I think it's interesting with him. And I was going back to the whole rest thing. I could see some people listening to this and thinking like, he's never going to tell you to stop moving. Well, in my experience, he might. It's happened to me. It's happened to Josh. It happened to us at the same time. And it was frustrating. And it was something that we were like, but no, we're here to move. And he's like, you thought you were here to move. I have you here to rest. Mm-hmm. And it has been how many years? Almost 5 years of learning that. And only now is he, at least for me, it's been different for you, Josh, I know. But at least for me, only now is he having like putting me back into more action. It wasn't being idle. It was learning the value of rest. Yeah. And it was learning to hear and follow and respond to his leadings in that rest. Mm-hmm. And now going back into a higher paced action, it's gonna hit different. Mm-hmm. Because I know what it is to hear his voice in the rest. And I know what it is to move even while staying in rest. And then now the new challenge is, can you take that ability to reside in rest and maintain it while in much higher action? But I think this is part of what he does with us, is there's always these lessons, right? But as he teaches you new things, he doesn't expect you to just put them down and never touch them again. They go with you. Like, you keep walking. Yeah. You may start running at some point, and you may skip every now and then. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But the walking is still involved. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I think you might skip more than you realize, because skipping's like this fast way of moving that is fun. Like, and I think that's how he wants you to move. But in order to get there, like, you got to learn to crawl, you got to learn to walk, you got to learn to run. Like you got to learn all those things before you can learn to skip. You got to learn to jump. Yeah, I just think like you're saying, there is a thing with, there's a thing with, he teaches you something and then he teaches you something different. And he doesn't expect you to just set everything down that he taught you. Somehow it's all connected. And the new thing is like connected to the last thing. And as he does it, it builds upon each other. And then all of a sudden, you know, this incredible thing that you never thought you would have known.
Yeah. You know what I think? I think he does this with all of us all the time. But there's something about recognizing it when it's happening so that you can learn the thing that he's teaching you. And I don't think there's anything wrong with stumbling into it and just being along for the ride, but the intentionality and knowing some of those things is super important. So when you're talking about you were looking and looking for a job and you did all the things and you were really striving for this and then it just kind of fell in your lap, I think it's important that you took a moment to go, well, this isn't what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that he's doing? Like, what is there for me to learn through this? What is that nuance in our relationship that he's nudging me with right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think that's how you really continue to learn how to function as a son. It's not just doing the thing, but knowing why,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then you kind of start to learn how things work. And you also start to be able to make better judgments. So it's not what things are happening to you, but is what is happening with you.
Yeah. 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 I think very much so. It's this journey and it's paying attention to the journey and it's being flexible on the journey. And, you know, we've done lots of episodes on this. Like the one that's coming to my mind is like the led life, where it's just like, are you allowing yourself to be led by the Holy Spirit? Mm-hmm. And if you are, you're going to end up places you never thought you would end up. And that's kind of like what both of us are realizing. Like it's not too long from now, you go back to you step into kind of a new role at your previous company. And, you know, have been in my role now for 2 months. And then we were just having a meeting this morning with one of our other friends, and they're like, oh, I start a job next week. And it's like, all this transitions taking place through, but it's like through the lens, all the transitions taking place through the lens of where we've come. And so it doesn't look the same. It doesn't feel the same. It isn't the same.
Mm-hmm. But isn't it interesting? I mean, the three of us kind of made this exodus from the corporate world all at the same time.
Yeah.
We were taught this rest stuff all at the same time. Like we literally were sitting on the same couch learning this together, right? And have been on this journey of unwinding from that, only to then be led into picking it back up.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to look so different for each of us. And I hope that it looks so different for each of us because of what we've gone through in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, like to summarize the conversation, like my thought has been like, is it better to grind or is it better to just have divine timing? And sure, divine timing maybe always feels better. But sometimes divine timing doesn't happen without you like grinding, without you stepping out into something that feels like grinding, without you making some effort. Sometimes divine timing doesn't happen.
For sure. It's being an active participant instead of a passive one.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
That's fun.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today. Thanks for your divine timing and listening to this episode. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in a week.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Market Mystics. If you are hungry for more, don't miss out on our exclusive bonus content available only to YouTube members. Demystify the world of cryptocurrency in the cryptosphere and explore everything from outrageous conspiracies to curious current events and out there spiritual musings. Nothing is off limits in Let's Get Weird. Become a channel member on YouTube to unlock these extra episodes. See you in the bonus episodes.